Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is the card that I wanted to share with you guys today, and it is a double slider pull card. It also holds a gift card, which I think is really cute. So if you would like to see how I created this double slider card, then keep on watching. I started this card out by getting all of my pieces die cut. So I have all of my dies laid out here so you can see which piece cuts out what. And I have two of those pocket pieces, so you're going to have to cut out two of those pieces. And then I also use the thumb hole at the bottom on both of my pocket pieces. And then I also cut out the track, one of those, and then I cut out two of my panel pieces. And finally, the last piece that I cut out was the tab that you pull on to slide the card out. You do get a variety of different shapes and sizes for that tab piece, but I decided to go with that one. And the first step to this card was distressing my paper. I wanted a brick texture, so I did use a brick stencil to distress ink that brick texture. So I did pounce the distress ink around because I wanted to get as much of the texture as I could. And the colors that I'm using is Fired Brick, Aged Mahogany, and Black Soot. So I did do this distress technique on both of my panel pieces as well as one of the pocket pieces. You don't need to do both of the pocket pieces if you're going to be fixing this slider down onto a card base. So I only had to distress just one of the pocket pieces, as you can see right over here. So now that I have all of my paper prepared and distressed, I'm going to work on assembling my track piece. And for that track piece, you're going to need the secret ingredient, which is a plastic bag. So you want to make sure that you use one that's really soft, nothing that's too stiff, because you want a nice smooth movement. So I took that plastic piece and I am laying down some 1/8 inch score tape on the very edge of that plastic, and then we're going to fold that plastic on over on itself. You want to make sure that you don't pull on the plastic too hard because you don't want it to be too tight, but you also don't want it to be too loose either. So just fold it over and just kind of let it drop down onto the tape, and you should get the right amount of tension on your plastic bag. And then once you lay it down, you want to grab some scissors and then you can go ahead and cut off the additional plastic. And as you can see, that leaves a little seam on your plastic, which is fine. I actually lost a little of footage of me placing down my score tape on the seam on the right side, and then I flipped it over and then I put down another piece of score tape on the other side as well, on the right side once it's flipped. So you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to put down some of that score tape on those little tabs. And using 1/8 inch score tape is actually perfect for this die set because it fits right onto those tabs really perfectly. So I'm going to put down that 1/8 inch score tape on both sides of the track piece, on the top and on the bottom. And I'm also going to be taking that tape and putting it on my pocket pieces on both of the flaps on that pocket piece because this die does score a line for the tabs for you. And now I'm going to prepare my panels onto my track. So the easiest way to do this is you're going to take your first piece with the score tape on the right side will be your top. So you want to peel up your score tape and then you can line up your panel with the edge of those tabs on the track, as you can see me doing here. I'm also using the grid on my cutting mat to kind of guide me as well. Next, I'm going to flip over my track piece and peel up that double-sided tape on the back, which should now be on the left side, and you want to make sure you put down that you're looking at the back side of your panel, because once you pull this will be on the front. So you'll see what I mean once I flip it back over and I give it some action. So you want to make sure both of your decorated panel sides are facing upward. Next, I'm going to peel off the double-sided tape on my pocket piece that I decorated and press that down with the piece that I didn't decorate and fix those together, butt them right up to the score lines. And here I'm a little bit out of frame, which I really wish I wasn't, because this is kind of the secret sauce. So what I did was I peeled up all of the double-sided tape on all of my tabs on the track piece. I laid down that track piece with the panels, and I also laid down the flap for the pocket piece. And now I'm peeling off the double-sided tape on the flap and pressing it down to close it up. I hope that made sense. I'm so sorry that I was out of frame. I apologize, but you can see here that I have some really nice smooth movement, and you really want to play with it just a little to get it moving and going. I have all my elements prepared for this card as well, and I decided to go with this really nice intricate Merry Christmas, and I die cut a few pieces of black cardstock and then glued on a silver Merry Christmas on top of that just to give me a dimensional sentiment. I also used the Snowman Agenda set, and then I also used the Pull Here set as well. And I just took an arrow out of that set and I'm going to emboss that in silver. Now I'm going to get this as close to the center as I can, and I just cut it down just a little bit because I didn't want it to be too long. I'm also going to glue down my Merry Christmas sentiment and making sure that I get the glue all over because this is a very intricate die. I don't want it to fall off the card. Next, I'm going to start gluing down my snowmen where I want them. I really love this stamp set. It has a variety of little snowmen doing all kind of different snowman things and carrying varying sorts of snow goodies in their hands. So I decided to go with the traditional red and green for the snowman accessories. But please feel free to utilize what other color scheme you would like. I just decided to go traditional and keep it very simple. And I just used the snowman to fill up the space on the bottom of the slider, just because they're cute, so I just kind of layered them around. And there you see all of my snowmen fixed onto the bottom of the slider card. And now I'm going to prepare my card base. So I have a basic card base measuring at 5.5 by 4.25. And then I have a mat, which I'm going to be using in this really beautiful embossing snowflake folder. And my mat is just about 1/8 inch smaller than my card base. And I'm going to glue that down onto my card base using just some adhesive tape runner. I'm also going to use that same tape runner on the back of my double slider and put that right in the center of the card, which I think the gray and the red looks really beautiful together. Next, I'm going to address the inside of my card, and I decided to use From All of Us because this card is actually going to someone at work, and I really wanted to make it special. So I decided to put From All of Us because it's going to be a gift from all of us at work. And just to bling up the card, I decided to add some sort of transparent silver sequins on the front. And I thought this would just give it a little bit of pizzazz. I'm trying to keep the sequins right in the center of each of those snowflakes that are embossed in the back of the card, and just to give it a little life and some action. And lastly, I just purchased the awesome envelope punch board. So I created this really beautiful envelope in a dark red cardstock to go with this card. And I used the We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board for the first time to create this envelope. And it was super easy and the envelope came out super perfect. But I did decide to customize the envelope a little more by taking a snowflake stamp, and I used Rhubarb Stark from Memento, and I just put some snowflakes all over the front of the envelope. And then I also put one of those snowflakes on the flap of the envelope as well. And that pretty much wraps up today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the process of creating this card. And if you want to see more cards like this one, then don't forget to hit the bell so that you're notified for my next upload. Subscribe, like, share, and comment on this video. And stay tuned for my next upload where I will be giving out a really special announcement for you guys. And until the next time, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.